our focus will be on executing the programs that we'll have in the combined company, particularly, as I mentioned, Awaken's lead program, which will become Solvonis's lead program, subject to regulatory approval.
Hello, you're watching Proactive. I'm joined by Solvonis Therapeutics CEO, Anthony Tennyson. Anthony, good to speak with you. So the company's name has changed to Solvonis Therapeutics. That's from Graph Polymer UK. Ticker changes tomorrow to SVNS. Can you remind us again about the name change?
Happy to, Stephen. It's good, as always, to speak to you and to your audience. We've changed the company name from Graph Polymer UK PLC to Solvonis Therapeutics PLC. And the reason for that is the Latin word to solve. It means to release and to unbind people. And that speaks to our journey and our commitment to developing therapeutics to more effectively treat mental health and substance use disorders or conditions. And really what our purpose is as a company going forward is to provide hope to the individuals, families, and communities who are currently underserved by the treatments for those indications. And the second reason that we're doing this is it's part of a journey for us in Solvonis to develop a UK domiciled, UK focused neuropsych biotech. And we're really encouraged by the work we see, the activity that we see going on in the neuropsych space right now, particularly in the significant activity in the M&A space and the material capital that's being deployed by Big Pharma into this sector. Particularly, we note the very recent news of J&J's acquisition of Intercellular for $14 billion. We also note Lundbeck's acquisition of Springboard Therapeutics for about $2.5 billion, and Bristol Myers Squibb's acquisition of Karuna for $14 billion. So what we're seeing a significant unmet need in the neuropsych, mental health, and substance use disorder space, which we're seeking to address on a go-forward basis. But we're also encouraged by the fact that Big Pharma is also seeing neuropsych now as an area of growth and opportunity.
Anthony, you recently announced that plans to acquire Awaken Life Sciences. How will that position Solvonis going forward?
So that's a great question. And yes, we recently announced our intention to acquire Awaken Life Sciences in an all-stock deal. And that will help reposition and reinforce Solvonis as a leading UK-based, UK-focused neuropsych company, particularly focused on mental health and substance use disorders. We particularly like Awaken because of its data, because of its team, and because of its valuation. Their data is particularly strong in the area of substance use disorders, particularly alcohol use disorder. Their lead program in phase 2 achieved a 50% reduction in heavy drinking days against placebo. And really importantly, going into phase 2, people on that trial were sober 2% of the time. So they were sober 7 days a week, Stephen, or 7 days a year, I should say, I beg your pardon. And those that went through the active arm achieved an 86% on average abstinence in the 6 months post-treatment. Now that trial is progressing. It's in phase 3 at the moment, and it's been majority funded by the UK Department of Health. And Awaken's cost for that phase 3 trial is capped at 800,000 sterling, which is really unheard of for a phase 3 potentially definitive trial for a condition affecting as many people as alcohol use disorder. So we really like Awaken's data. We like Awaken's team, particularly Professors Barbara Mason, Professor Celia Morgan, and Professor David Nutt, who are part of the team or advisors. And we're hoping to bring some of that expertise over into Solvonis through the course of this transaction. And very importantly for us, from a shareholder value creation perspective, we like Awaken's valuation. It is rare that there's a company who we can acquire for 5 million sterling in an all-stock deal, who have an asset in phase 3 where that program is only costing the company 800,000 sterling for an indication that affects many, many people, and who have a secondary asset that they're actually in discussions with the FDA to progress, hopefully, into mid-clinical stage for another indication, or for an indication for alcohol use disorder in the US economy. So really, we're very pleased with that acquisition if it goes through, subject to shareholder and regulatory approval, because, as I said, of its data, the team, and the valuation.
Anthony, your priorities for 2025, what should investors expect?
We're really excited in Salvonis Therapeutics PLC for what 2025 holds for the team, for the company, and for shareholders. Key focus for us will be on completing the acquisition of Awaken as efficiently and as promptly as possible, subject obviously to regulatory and shareholder approval. And from there, our focus will be on executing the programs that we'll have in the combined company, particularly, as I mentioned, Awaken's lead program, which will become Salvonis's lead program, subject to regulatory approval. And we'll be keen to progress that and provide updates to the street on how recruitment is progressing through the course of 2025. We'll also be particularly keen on taking forward Awaken's secondary program, which is focused on targeting moderate to severe alcohol use disorder in the US economy, and continuing the dialogue that Awaken has had to date with the FDA, and ideally mapping out a program to move as rapidly as possible into mid-clinical stage for that program, and then also progressing Awaken's preclinical programs. And all in all, we're very happy with what 2025 will hold, as I said, for the company, but also for shareholders of Salvonis Therapeutics PLC.
Sure, we'll have many conversations as the year progresses. Anthony, thank you very much for speaking with us today.
Stephen, pleasure as always. Thank you very much.
That's Salvonis Therapeutics CEO Anthony Tennyson.